On this week's episode of For the Love of Chiropractic, Keys of My Success, I get to speak to a female chiropractor who is wildly successful. She has 4 associate doctors in her office, and they're looking for a 5th. They concentrate on taking care of kids, so prenatal care and pediatrics, especially taking care of kids with developmental delays. This doctor, not only is she the CEO of the company, not only does she do a ton of training, she also coaches private clients and is hugely successful. I hope you enjoy listening to this episode with Dr. Susan Mitchell. Hello and welcome to Secrets of My Success, part of For the Love of Chiropractic podcast series. On each episode, I'll be interviewing one highly successful doctor or business person, asking them what are their 3 keys of success or secrets they've used to make themselves so highly successful. So let's get started with today's show. I have the pleasure of having on the phone with me today a longtime friend, a fellow coach, someone that I have even shared the stage with when I've had the opportunity to lecture. Dr. Susan Mitchell joined us by phone from her office. Susan, are you there?
Yes.
It is so good to have you. I'm so glad we were able to arrange this because I know your schedule is crazy sometimes.
Yes. I'm so happy to share this time with you.
So first of all, let's start off. How many years have you been in practice?
I've been in practice for 28 years.
That's a lot of years. And you graduated from where way back in the day?
Palmer.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Yes.
So you went to Palmer, but how did you find your way into chiropractic to begin with?
So I was the teenage girl, got in a car accident, having headaches, and started going to see a chiropractor. And then I ended up working for that chiropractor at his front desk while I was going to school to be an accountant, which is hilarious to me. So I just, started seeing all the miracles coming in every day myself. My headaches went away. My bronchitis, I used to get bronchitis twice a year. It went away. And it was not due to a healthy lifestyle, by the way. It was all due to chiropractic. And so the story that pushed me over an edge was a baby that had not slept, just cried and screamed for 17 hours a day. Never slept, would sleep 10, 15 minutes at a time. And the mom was so strung out and one adjustment and the baby stopped crying.
Wow. You get the bone off the nerve and the body does what it's supposed to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, I made the call that day and I was like, okay, I got to be a bigger part of this. And here I am 28 years later.
That's so cool. Okay. So when you got out of school, did you associate or you opened right up?
I was an associate for 8 years, actually, while I was having babies and had a great experience. And then been in my own practice 20 years, just a couple months ago.
That's fabulous. Okay. So, and I know your office is incredibly special. So tell me what makes your office unique. Where did it start and then where is it now?
So I've always been very passionate about working with kids. Anybody that knows me knows I've always been passionate about working with kids and prenatal and those kinds of, just the family practice. And it's just grown exponentially. I have 4 associate doctors, and we're actually looking for a 5th right now. And our skill set is just, through the roof. And we are helping kids of all ages, of all developmental stages. We work with a lot of kids on the spectrum of, just that nervous system dysregulation. We're just helping kids regulate their nervous system and heal and be more well. And it's the most exciting thing ever. My doctors are amazing. We are just all on the same mission and just feel so blessed.
That's so cool. So now with 4 docs in the office, no, I'm sorry, is that you and 3 others or it's you and their 4 associates?
4 associate doctors. I just recently took myself off the floor. So, so we have 4 doctors and like I said, we need more hands. So,
all right. Well, right. That's awesome. So with this organization that you've built, this amazing office, 4 docs plus you looking for a 5th, you're just with this exponential growth. Tell me about your keys of success. What would you say your 3 keys of success are? Let's take them one at a time.
Sure. The first one that came to mind was, and you've heard me say this from stage so many times, of like tell the truth. It really is like that simple. It's like, just tell the truth and tell the whole truth. And unfortunately, I think in our profession, a lot of doctors, especially today's doctors, they don't even know the whole truth. They don't know how we can impact children's nervous systems, or adults for that matter. They think, a lot of doctors think, like a lot of Americans think, that we're neck pain, back pain, and headaches. And it's so much more than that. You know that, I know that, but a lot of other doctors don't know that. And I see doctors struggling. I mean, this is why I'm a coach, because I see doctors struggling, and it's just not necessary. Like, it's just knowing the truth, learning the truth. So if you don't know the whole truth, then find someone to help you learn that. And then having the guts to tell the truth. In today's world, gosh, our kids are the sickest they've ever been. Adults are the most stressed they've ever been. We don't have the luxury of not telling the truth. Like, who else is going to tell them? They're not going to learn about chiropractic and the nervous system from their pediatricians or from the news, or, it's like, if we're not going to tell the truth, who is? And it's just, it has to happen. And so that's, as you can tell, I get a little bit passionate about this, but I just know in every one of your listeners' communities, there are people, there are parents on their hands and knees praying every single night for answers that we have, and they just don't know that, so how dare we not be telling the whole truth out in our communities, in our practices. But oftentimes we get scared. We don't have the guts. Well, Bob, if you could maybe come 3 times, like, no, like, we have to, I love the saying, we have to catch on fire with enthusiasm, and people will come for miles to watch us burn. And it's so true. It's like, but we have to have that in our hearts first. And that's what I think is missing in a lot of our profession. So thank you for doing this podcast, because
oh my God, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I've known each other for so many years, and the fact that taking your time, it just means so much to me. But I've got to ask you, because there's a lot of people listening who may be even questioning, well, when she says tell the truth, the whole truth, Dr. Susan Mitchell, tell me in short, what is the whole truth about chiropractic?
It is that, in the simplest form, it's that the body is designed to heal itself. And we've gotten so far away from that. We look at people as bad knees, bad hearts, bad brains, bad sensory processing. It's just the parts. And the body is designed to heal itself. And through chiropractic, we can remove subluxations, and we can allow the body to heal, and we can allow the body to really function and develop, and children grow the way they are designed, versus in these stressed out fight or flight situations that most of us are in and have been, for years, or since birth, or even in utero for that matter. But that's what I think, in interviewing doctors, I think a lot of times I talk to them about communication, and that's something that's one of my success principles. But it's that they don't even fully understand. A doctor was said to me, like, I don't really believe in all that. Like, what, you'll help with constipation? Like, what? That's ridiculous. And I'm like, no, it's not. And so it's that. It's just, that's, I guess, a great place to start for somebody that doesn't understand this, is go back to 33 principles and remember that we are designed to heal, and removing that nerve interference can absolutely allow a person's body, brain health, to heal and improve.
I so love that, because the alternative is, it means that the body has a deficiency of ibuprofen, or a deficiency of Pepto-Bismol, or a deficiency of, you name it, whatever the drug chemical that the big pharma is pushing this week on the commercial in between some sitcom. Mm-hmm. Right. No, that's not. Yes. You and I both know, and I hope every chiropractor listening to this knows and understands. Yeah, the 33 principles, the biggest one, the body wants to heal. You have to have the interference out of the way.
Yes, absolutely. And I think a lot of, when I'm probably getting out of order here, but I think that is also where we struggle in practice sometimes. I know there's chiropractors that are struggling and to even keep their doors open. And not only are they not telling the whole truth, they don't know the whole truth, and by that I also mean that I think in schools they're still teaching, the twice a week for 2 weeks or twice a week for 4 weeks. And kids are way too stressed and way too toxic. They need to be adjusted more often, and same thing for adults.
Of course.
And so, so they're not getting those miracles. They're not getting the results, and they're thinking there's something wrong with them when it's just, they're simply not seeing the patient often enough, or, really restoring nerve function, because we're in a completely different era than we were, when I got into practice.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and the human body is surprisingly consistent. I mean, if you just wanted to build muscle, something as simple as that, you're not going to the gym twice a week.
That's right.
It just isn't consistent enough for the body to build the momentum it needs to move forward at the pace that you want.
That's right.
So, all right. So that was a beautiful sidebar. So, all right. So tell the truth and the whole truth is your key number one. And I love that. You mentioned communication. Now, is that your number 2 or number 3?
Well, it is. It's communication, I guess, was kind of going to come into number 3 about, and this is something I think that we do really well. And it's the most important, right? Because you can give a great adjustment. You can be a great adjuster. You can be a great chiropractor. But if you can't communicate it, then people aren't going to understand, and they're not going to stay to get those results. And so with the communication, I think it's like really making it about them and not about you. So many doctors want to talk about themselves, and they want to share all their knowledge and show how smart they are, when patients don't care about that. Like, they care about what they care about. And I try and teach coaching clients, especially new doctors, because as doctors, we understand and we think it's all about health, that people just want to be healthier. And unfortunately, most Americans, their health is not on the top. They'll tell you it's on the top, but it's really not the top.
No.
It's their golf game that is the top. It's their ability to produce, or, to make income, or to buy the car, or whatever it is, but it's really not their health. And so the communication piece, I think, is really important. Simon Sinek talks about their why, but it's true for patients too. It's like, what is their why? And if you can figure that out and communicate to patients about what their why is and how you can help them with what really matters to them, that's when they stay and long enough to see the results. That's when they will stay, pay, and refer, as they say, where it's like, it's not a manipulative way. It's like, what do they want? What do they want from you? Because it's not just their health.
Right. I was just having a conversation with a client just the other day about this exact thing. And he was saying, well, I'm getting rid of their back pain. They say they're telling me their back feels better. I said, ask them why they want their back pain to feel better. What is it they want to do? Right.
Yes.
Well, they want to play golf. They want to lift their children. They want to be able to play with their grandchildren. Right, now you're really talking to people.
Yep.
Yeah. The other analogy that I love is we all want our dentist to be an absolute nerd about the tooth and the way the tooth is built and the strength of the tooth and the health of the gums and all of that kind of stuff that, I have some understanding, but I don't know everything. But I don't want them to teach me about that.
No, I have other things to do,
Exactly. They're the dentist for a reason. We're the chiropractors for a reason. Let's help them get where they want to be.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So I love tell the truth. I love the communication piece. Absolutely. So if communication was number 3, what was number 2?
Number 2 was like always striving to be better, so we have staff meetings at least twice a week. We do training, we watch videos. We're always cleaning up our procedures. We're always just learning and growing. And I think that's the other thing, is that we get comfortable and quite honestly, and I think this is a human thing, right? We think like, oh, we already know that. And that's just not the case. So we're always trying to be more intentional. We want that whole wow experience that everybody talks about, but it's like, how can I help this person in front of me feel more loved, feel more heard? And for us, it's, if we're going to see 180 people in a day, if we can be more efficient, meaning save on steps, get a software where we don't have to walk up to the front desk, but we can communicate with whatever it is. I tell my staff all the time, if we can save 1 minute per patient, that's 180 minutes a day. that's a lot more babies that we can see, or that's you can take a break and, go use the bathroom, whatever you need to do. But it's being efficient, but not at the expense of the experience of the patient. And that's just huge for us. I think that that's also really important, is always, how can I improve? I've had staff in the past complain, like, once, I'll just understand what we're doing, and then you change the rules. And I'm like, heck yeah. Like, if I find a way that helps us be more efficient and a patient feel more loved, 100%, we're changing that procedure.
Yeah.
So I think that is, I almost wrecked my car one time driving down the road, and it was a bank sign of all things. And it said, either you're training or you're complaining. And I was like, dang, that is speaking to me. And, we've coached clients where it's like, well, I put her at the front desk. I told her what to do, and like, she's not doing it. It's like, well, you have to tell them more than once, first of all.
Right.
And it's just always revisiting that. And I think that's where a lot of people fall short, is, and myself included, right? Like, I drop things. I will say something in a report, and I'll be like, where did that come from? Mm-hmm. Or, I haven't said that. I used to say that all the time, and I haven't said that for years. Like, when did I drop that off? So.
Yeah, exactly. Train, retrain, revisit, and then retrain again.
Yes, absolutely.
So I ask everybody this question. So with your years of experience and this phenomenal organization that you've built and are continuing to build and improve, is it possible for a young doc who's just getting out of school now, or someone who's new in practice, or just isn't as successful as they think they could be, is it possible in today's world for them still to become a huge success?
Oh, absolutely. I think probably even easier, than back in our day, with the technology and things like that. And things are shifting, right? Like, Americans are tired of the medical model. They are looking for answers. And we have those answers. So I've heard on stage for years and years, it's never been a better time to be a chiropractor. And it's always been true. And I think it's even more true today. The only thing I would say is that they need help. They need a mentor, they need a coach, and not just because I'm a coach. They can have a mentor that works down the street, but just to go out on your own with the knowledge that the schools are giving us, and nothing against the schools. They can only teach us so much, right? But they do need help. They need to know how to communicate. They need to know how to just know the whole truth. It's just that simple. So yeah, they do need help, but and I know, again, on Facebook, you see all the time people saying, I know some chiropractors abuse their associates. I know that's a thing, but I also know, and you do too, so many people all across the country that are good humans, that have great practices, that need extra hands and are happy to mentor, whether it be an associateship or just, hey, come and observe my practice. I sent one of my coaching clients to your practice to observe because she needed to have that bigger vision. And, and so it's really that simple. It's a phone call. Hey, I know you have a great practice. Can I come shadow?
Right. And once someone has seen it, it's like, oh, now I understand.
Yes. Right. It's all in your head, as Dr. Larry Markson says.
Some of our 5 favorite words. So,
yes, that's right.
So having talked about all the things that we've talked about, I've got to ask you, how do you define business success?
For me, it is all about, am I positively impacting the person in front of me or the people in my practice, and that goes for staff and for patients. And, I'm all about exponential impact, especially as I get older. I'm like, okay, exponential impact. Those are my words for this year and ongoing. Is I love Jim Parker said 100 years ago, like, take care of the person in front of you well, and the money will come. Mm-hmm. And that's how I built my practice. That's how I live my life. Like, it's like, just take care of the person in front of you. And, that's, to me, we went through a period where the practice was growing and my PVA was going down, because these little things were being dropped. And I was like, I don't want a big practice if they're not being treated the best that we can. So, right. So that's business success to me.
All right. So if that's business success, let's flip to the other side of that coin. How do you define personal success?
it's actually the exact same sentence, I guess. Like, am I positively impacting my people? Are my relationships healthy and growing? And am I? And it can be somebody that I pass in the store or in a parking lot, or at my partner or my kids, or so. It's the same for me. I think it's just, am I positively impacting my people?
I love that. So if somebody's heard this podcast and goes, wow, you know what? Man, that makes sense. Like I'm ready to throw down the gauntlet. Good just isn't good enough anymore. I'm ready to take the first step. What would you say the first step is that somebody should take?
I think it's mentorship. First and foremost, if you are in such a place that you just cannot afford a coach, then call someone down the street that has a great practice. And again, I think that's another thing. I think some people don't get coaching. They don't ask the mentor that has the practice down the street. I've had my own coaching clients say, now, let's be clear, I don't want to see 750 people a week. That's fine. It's not about what I want. Or what I wanted for my practice. It's about getting help to get what you want. And so maybe you go observe somebody and you're like, well, I don't want that and I don't want that. But you pick up 3 gems that help you have better communication, or, it's like, so just, if you're struggling, ask for help. It's okay to not know everything, and that's it. Just ask for help.
Right, because nobody knows everything, and everybody asks for help sometimes.
Yes.
So I couldn't agree with you more. You gotta ask for help. Wow. Dr. Susan Mitchell, I can't thank you enough for making and taking the time to share your knowledge and wisdom today. You're an absolute rock star in my book.
Oh, well, I love sharing. I get excited, and I love you. So I'm happy to share.
All right, Susan, I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Sounds great.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. And that's our show for today. If you have a question about today's show or your own practice, feel free to reach out at fortheloveofchiropractic.com. Before making changes to your practice, be sure to seek legal advice regarding those changes and regulations in your state. For the Love of Chiropractic is an RGF production, all rights reserved. And thanks for listening. Original music provided by Hunter Rich Music.